Hello, everybody. Welcome to a new episode of Top of the List. This is the mainline series that we follow on our channel here. We do some individual reviews, but we also do our Top of the List where we give you guys what's at the top of the list for us in all kinds of different categories. And as you can tell, we're talking about the newly announced Disney Plus original shows coming at us. We got at least 10 Marvel shows, at least 10 Star Wars shows, and a whole lot more movies. We got Disney, Pixar, Marvel, and Star Wars all coming your way. What's our top picks right now in this episode? So I think we should start off with Marvel. I'm wearing my Black Panther shirt, and we got my Drax the Destroyer mug right here, and we'll move into Star Wars shortly after this. But, didn't introduce ourselves. First of all, I'm Dom, right, of course, and this is RB. So we're going to be going into our top picks right now. So what's kind of the first one? We have a laptop here with a bunch of ones here. What's your kind of top picks here, Ryan, at the top of our list?
So let's first of all start. The most recent Disney. I think it was an investors meeting. I think in total there were 52 new upcoming titles either released or updates given on things that we already knew. But of course, I think Marvel and the MCU is definitely the headline here. Of course, some of the biggest headlines, a new trailer for WandaVision that looks incredible. You can tell, looking through a lot more of these titles that we'll be talking on a little bit later, this series, or what's the term I'm looking for here?
Original, I guess.
Right, yeah, but not so much the series, but this phase. That's the word I'm looking for. This phase of the MCU definitely looks like it's going to be touching on the multiverse, which, we're both huge fans of, if you haven't seen any of our other Marvel episodes. So kicking us right off with WandaVision and the new WandaVision trailer, showing us a little bit more than the original trailer showed. We get to see now sort of, and as we've heard now, each episode spanning through a different era of sitcom, and we begin to see that in this trailer. I love this trailer. It was mind-boggling. WandaVision definitely at the top of my list. But we also got trailer releases for The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, a new first look at Loki, which looks incredible, and we got a trailer for What If, the new animated MCU series that's coming out. All four look incredible. I'm going to just start off with what's on top of my list for the MCU, and I'm going to go with What If. I think a little bit of a wild card here, but I think the animation looks incredible. I love the concept. Really excited to see what Disney and MCU do with this, with the direction of Kevin Feige. Really, really excited for What If, and then of course, also excited for everything else named there as well. But What If, really juiced for.
Yeah, let me kind of give my thoughts on What If here, and definitely the top of my list. Definitely WandaVision, dude. Right. Out of all the live-action series, including, I'm not sure if Miss Marvel is a movie or a TV show. Maybe you can look that up.
Yeah, you go ahead. Keep going on your point. I'll look that up.
Yeah, so What If? Animated show. My main gripe with this one, based off the premise, I'm going to watch it. The animation looks amazing. Those are my positives. Big negative for me is it's not part of canon, right? It's not going to be affecting what we see in the movies, what we know as the main storyline in the MCU. It has no repercussions whatsoever. It's just like the title. It's a what if. And I'm fine with that, but it's not as big of an impactful series as WandaVision, Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Those are going to have impact on the movies that we're going to be seeing as well. That's my perspective.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. I'm just excited. I think there's something new to look forward to. Like I said, we're touching on the multiverse. It seems like What If is touching on that. We got to see, I don't remember his name, but he's not like, he's sort of like a puppet master is how he explains himself in What If, who's sort of pulling the strings in the back of the show. The Observer, thank you. Yeah. So, I think that is going to have, a minimal, repercussion, but at least explain to us part of the multiverse and the implications to that here in this phase of the MCU.
And you know what? The funny thing is that the Observer is going to be playing a big part in What If, but we have seen the Observer in live action, Ryan. Do you remember at all when we saw him? It was at an end credits scene in one of our fave movies, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Definitely a good entry, but Stan Lee plays the Observer. He's sitting around with a bunch of these big, tall guys, and he's telling them. And then I was here, and basically kind of playing on the idea that every Stan Lee cameo is
Got
in
it.
canon, you know, he's the observer watching over everything.
Okay, no, I didn't know that. So no, that's awesome to hear.
Yeah.
You know, Stan Lee, of course, you know, rest in peace,
Yeah.
the brilliant mind and creator of the Marvel universe, not even, you know, pre-MCU with the comics. But you know, that's cool to hear, and I didn't realize that, but makes me, you know, even more excited for What If, and you know, just a little fun fact there. But yeah, you're absolutely right too. You know, circling back to the other shows, WandaVision looks incredible. Loki looks incredible. Excited to see the implications that these have with our current film deal. It looks like a lot of messing with the timeline, which I'm really excited to see how they do, because, you know, of course we got that with Avengers Endgame with, you know, going back in time, the implications of time travel. So really excited to see what we have in store for those big shows, but also some other announcements for MCU. Do you want to finish up your thoughts on maybe Loki and Falcon and Winter Soldier before we go into the other announcements?
Yeah, so those are kind of the big three live action, right? WandaVision, Falcon, Winter Soldier, and Loki. Our first time, we've seen Winter Soldier before, we've seen Falcon and Winter Soldier before, we've seen WandaVision before in a few trailers. Our first look at Loki was exactly what I thought it was going to be. Him, after he gets his hands on the space, right, the Tesseract,
right,
in Avengers Endgame, and he kind of branches off into his own reality. We're going to see him jumping through time, messing with time, you know, getting captured a lot, going on a heist, it looks like. And my main overall point I want to make on these Disney originals, a lot of these Disney originals, is this is breakthrough for the medium of television, because we're going to see a lot of, you know, Hollywood actors normally only in big budget movies on the small screen for the first time. They hint that Chris Hemsworth might be showing up as Thor. We might even be seeing Heimdall show up in Loki as well. I mean, these guys on the small screen for the first time, that is going to be an event in itself.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing, this new era, you know, of course, streaming, it is the future medium. You know, we talk about it all the time. We love seeing films in the theater, but paired with, you know, the streaming culture nowadays, and of course what's going on with the pandemic, this may be the new medium. And, you know, like I said, as much as we love the movie theaters, we're all for it too. You know, nothing wrong with enjoying you know, a great piece of television or a piece of cinema from the comfort of your own home.
Yeah, and Disney Plus is definitely a must-have now. Like we've been saying for a while, we feel Netflix is definitely a must-have. Prime Video, you know, there's a few standouts. Hulu, definitely some standouts there, but it feels like now it's Netflix and Disney Plus are the big dogs.
Yeah,
you know?
absolutely.
Apple TV feels like there's one or two I'd like to see, but not a giant catalog there.
Yeah.
But yeah, and Disney Plus getting a price hike in the United States if you're watching from the United States. This was kind of to justify their price hike, saying we got all this content coming for you guys. It's going to be worth the extra.
Well, I think another thing that I'm excited to see about or hear about is nothing about the Disney Plus premium that we saw the release for Mulan earlier this year. You know, that was definitely something. What was it, $35 that I blew on that? So I'm glad to hear that at least so far it doesn't sound like any of these are going to be premium. Instead, they're going with this price hike. Look, I'm okay with it. I'd rather than having to spend $35 on these films. Look, I can justify doing that too with, you know, that's what I'd be spending at the movie theater if you consider I'm getting popcorn and you know, an icy. But, you know, definitely all for, you know, I'm okay with this price hike as long as we continue to get this incredible content.
Yeah, totally. So we covered like the big live action shows. Did you find out if Miss Marvel's a movie?
Miss Marvel will be a series as well.
As well as kind of some of the smaller ones. Miss Marvel, She-Hulk, starring Tatiana Maslany, who is one of my favorite actresses. She was in Orphan Black, a really great show, and a bunch of other shows too. And we just got some news the other day. Mark Ruffalo returning as Hulk in She-Hulk, as well as Tim Roth as the Abomination.
From the original, you know, second film in MCU Phase 1. Not our favorite. But I mean, a cool hero, a cool villain, I would say. So excited to see him. Yeah,
I could redeem it a little.
I like Tim Roth too. Great actor.
Yeah, totally. So we're gonna definitely looking forward to that. Any other live action ones that caught your eye there?
Yeah. I mean, Hawkeye coming out fall of 2021 with Haley Steinfeld. Yep, exactly. Both Ironheart and Armor Wars sort of going off of the, you know, the future of Stark Technologies, Stark Industries. Of course, in that we will have.
I do gotta say, Ironheart. I don't know about Armor Wars. That feels like it'd be a fun action show, but I feel like Ironheart has some real potential to not only be a great successor to what we've seen in Iron Man, but for me, when I saw that, I was like, whoa, this has potential to be my favorite show on Disney Plus as a whole, even more than Mandalorian is. I really want to see what they can do with Ironheart.
Yeah, I mean, Ironheart will be great. Starring Dominique Thorne as Riri Williams. So really excited to see that. Of course, for those of you who are unfamiliar, Armor Wars will be a side story sort of with Don Cheadle returning as War Machine, you know, sort of fighting some terrorist organizations that get their hands on Stark Industries technology. Let's see, what else? Secret Invasion, really excited about this.
Yeah, that's going to be awesome.
Ben Mendelsohn back as
he was so good.
The Skrull Talos, right? And Samuel L. Jackson is Nick Fury as well, so that'll be great. Let's see, what else do we have? Moon Knight, don't really know much about that one. Yeah. And then we'll have the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special, and also a series of shorts titled I Am Groot, following Baby Groot and his adventures. So all really exciting series coming out between now and 2023. I think that's as far forward as the announcements go, but that just about wraps it up for the MCU series. We do have some announcements for films as well, and I think we're going to start with, what's on your shirt, Dom, the recent announcement for Black Panther 2.
Black Panther 2, they're not going to recast Chadwick Boseman. I think that they're going to go with, what's her name, Shuri?
Yes.
Yeah, his sister is going to be the main character, which I'm all for. I think that's amazing.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. We haven't gotten an official announcement on if that's the way they're going, but definitely not recasting someone else to play T'Challa. So yeah, really excited to see where they go with that. Shuri, right?
Yeah, his sister, yeah.
Yeah, she is awesome. One of my favorite characters. Love in, I think it's in Infinity Wars where all the scientists can't figure it out and she's just having an easy time with extracting the Mind Stone from Vision. So that'll be really fun. Really excited to see the second installment of Black Panther, of course. Rest in peace, Chadwick Boseman, a terrible loss, of course, not just for his acting roles in the MCU, but, throughout cinema, a fantastic actor. Definitely like to pay our respects to him. And, the many great characters that he played in all different genres. So definitely a loss, but we're excited to see the Black Panther story continue on. Ant-Man and the Wasp, Part 3, we got an official name for as well, Quantumania.
Quantumania. Yeah. Looks like we're going more into the quantum realm. Michelle Pfeiffer returning again as her, Janet Van Dyne.
Yep.
And, like more quantum. And this, like I said, in our Ant-Man and the Wasp, when we talked about it, it felt like her powers were unexplained. Why does she have these powers? I hope they go in depth on more of what the quantum realm does besides just as a gateway to time travel like they explained in Endgame.
Yeah, absolutely. And we also got a name for our villain. So our villain there will be Kang the Conqueror, and it'll be played by Jonathan Majors. You're more of a comic book guy than I am. I'm not sure who Kang the Conqueror is, so if you want to go more in depth on that.
Kang the Conqueror is our new Thanos, everybody. Directly after Endgame, even though there was no end credit scene, but after I saw what they did with time travel, a lot of people were throwing around names saying it could be, what's that guy's name, Galactus. I knew right off the bat, okay, they're going to be Kang the Conqueror, and when I think of Kang the Conqueror, I think of the old Avengers shows, the old cartoons that I used to watch, not necessarily old, but like from when I was like 9 or 10. Kang the Conqueror definitely showed up in those, and he was a force to be reckoned with. And what is really important is he has an emotional backstory, because I could see them going this direction. This is kind of my prediction. I could see them going with, as a result of Endgame, as a result of messing with the timeline, as a result of Doctor Strange messing with everything, Kang the Conqueror is out for revenge against the Avengers because his timeline gets destroyed. This is from the comics and from the show. His timeline gets destroyed, and with his timeline, his family gets destroyed. His husband, his wife, and child get destroyed, and that's why he's out for revenge, which is really emotional right off the bat.
Absolutely.
They could definitely deliver on that.
Yeah. So, really excited to hear that. So it does sound like we have a new overarching villain for this next, the next multiple phases of the MCU. Finally, a couple last things we're going to touch on. Of course, Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness, we know about.
Sam Raimi.
But of course, they're saying now that Multiverse of Madness will also tie into WandaVision and the third installment of Tom Holland's Spider-Man. So we will see Benedict Cumberbatch make appearances in WandaVision and in the third Spider-Man movie. Doesn't look like we have a date on that yet. And then last but not least, we've got Marvel Studios announcing their first Fantastic Four film.
And director John Watts coming back. Obviously, he's the guy that's been doing the Spider-Man movies, Spider-Man Homecoming, Spider-Man Far From Home. Not my first pick. I no disrespect to John Watts or anything, not my first pick for the Fantastic Four movie. I know Jon Favreau's busy with Star Wars right now, but he was definitely one of my favorite picks for Fantastic Four. Or I wanted to see, MCU's been doing some great stuff with directors that have directed small indie films. John Watts is a great example of it. Cop Car, a small independent thriller about two kids stealing a cop car. They saw that visceral, violent film and said, let's let this guy direct the next Spider-Man movie, and it turned out beautifully.
Oh, yeah.
I wanted them to take someone that has just made a couple films. I don't know. I think he could do a good job with it, but I have a feeling this one is going to be 2025, 2026, way off. They're going to
we do not have a date for this yet.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm not a huge Fantastic Four fan. Of course, I'll watch it. It's part of the MCU. I'm bought in, but I'm not sure. I think definitely right now, just from what once again, I'm not a comic book guy, but from what we've seen put on cinema so far of the Fantastic Four, they're not my favorite hero group. Yeah. Hopefully, Disney and the MCU team will be able to revive it and maybe change my opinion on that.
And the thing is that we haven't had any great Fantastic Four movies, but it's always been the Fantastic Four comic books are some of the best Marvel comic books ever made. Mm-hmm. And I really hope they can translate it. Okay. That's my first thing to think of there. But I also want to just bring up something that shocked me. Doesn't have to do, I guess it does have to do with Disney Plus. Black Widow is only going to be in theaters. Yeah. May 2021.
Yeah, that's interesting. But, definitely it's nice to see that, we're trying to still have that movie theater experience. Hopefully by May, this COVID spike will have leveled off. I mean, of course, with the vaccine announcement today being approved by the Pfizer vaccine, at least being approved by the FDA, I believe that was within the last 48 hours or so. Hopefully by May, we've had some positive turnarounds in the numbers, and we'll feel comfortable to go back to the theaters and get you that review ASAP. If not, we may have to wait, or maybe they will decide based off the times that they will go Disney Plus. So we'll have to wait and see on that one. But I think that'll, unless you have anything else to say, wrap it up for our MCU discussion. We can move over to Star Wars.
I don't think that there was anything else from this necessarily.
Yeah, I think we went through every title.
The only thing I can think of, I know we're maybe missing a couple of MCU movies coming out. Obviously, we didn't hear anything about Mahershala Ali in Blade. They said that one's a long way off. Yeah. But the most immediate one that came to mind, and they revealed the cast and everything, which I love, is Shang-Chi.
Right.
All Asian cast. Really excited for that one.
And this, you said, we discussed this earlier when we were talking about Iron Man 3. This will be the reveal of the true Mandarin, correct?
True Mandarin. I'm hoping they do that because it says, and the Legend of the Ten Rings, the Mandarin, the leader of the gang, the Ten Rings. So I'm hoping they go that way. And it seems like it could be maybe our Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon in the MCU. That would be freaking awesome.
Yeah, that's right. I totally forgot about that one. But yeah, we did get a full cast announcement. So looking forward to that as well. It's definitely a different style of MCU film coming out.
And before we go to Star Wars, just a few smaller ones. I think we should go maybe Pixar next and end on Star Wars.
Okay, yeah, we can do that.
And but before we get to Pixar, big announcement that I've been reading up on. I know that you haven't seen any of his other movies, Ryan, but Barry Jenkins, the director of Moonlight, Best Picture winner from 2016 or 16 or 17 maybe. But he's going to be directing a prequel to Jon Favreau's live action The Lion King.
A prequel?
A prequel that will deal with, I'm forgetting the main lion's name, James Earl Jones.
Mufasa.
Mufasa, and it's going to be about him and Scar, their kind of upbringing. And the fact that they got Barry Jenkins makes me so hyped, but I'm then kind of weary. I'm like, why did they get such a good director to direct a prequel to a film that I thought was, okay at best?
Yeah, I mean, I will go back and forth with many people about this. I'm a huge Lion King animated film, the original Lion King from 1994. So to me, the new film was animation, yes, but it was paying homage to what was a brilliant film and just putting it in a more beautiful, screen setting the way they did it. So I love the new Lion King, and hearing that, I'm very excited to hear about this Lion King prequel. Something we haven't seen. Of course, Disney did their straight to video Lion King 1.5 that was sort of a prequel that touched on Timon and Pumbaa and their story.
Which is a great movie.
Oh, I love that movie.
Yeah.
I have it on VHS still.
Yeah.
And watch it when I go home all the time. But yeah, really excited to hear that. And definitely some insight that we've never seen before in that sort of Lion King story arc.
Yeah, totally. So that was kind of the big standout for me, especially because of that director. Big fan of Moonlight. But go on, Ryan. What do you think of Disney animation?
So a lot of Disney animation. I believe these are series coming out. In fact, no, we may actually have films. So first, the film Raya the Last Dragon. Coming out Disney Plus via Premier Access, so this will be an upcharge, and in theaters. We do not have a date on that one yet. I know very little about this one. Oh, beg your pardon. So March 5th, 2021. We do have a date for that one. Just go right past it. Yeah.
I gotta talk about this one.
Yeah, go right ahead.
From the trailer, I love the trailer, and it looks really great. But I do gotta say, this looks like Disney's Avatar: The Last Airbender in every sense of the word. From minute one, don't get me wrong, guys, I'm very excited to see this movie. But to me, this is them saying, we're trying to make an Avatar: The Last Airbender, because just from the cultural aesthetic of it, it looks totally like it.
Okay.
But I'm really excited.
So yeah, that's great. I mean, really excited to hear about Raya and the Last Dragon. March 5th, 2021, so not too far out. 4 months from now? Not even. And that once again will be a Disney Plus instant premiere, or I'm sorry, Premier Access like Mulan was. Or you can go to the theaters once again. March, it's close, but it's an eternity away. We'll see if we're going to go to the theaters. Maybe we'll get the Premier Access to watch that one as well. Other films coming out that we got announcements for in development. I'm really excited about this one. Encanto, a film that takes place in Colombia. Music all written by one of our favorites, Lin-Manuel Miranda. Still working with Disney. We've seen him now, of course, Hamilton on Disney Plus. We saw him in Moana. He did the music for.
Yep.
No, I'm missing something else. Mary Poppins Returns. He was fantastic in. So Encanto. So this will take place in Colombia. Once again, we're assuming Latin music. Of course, we saw Disney execute this perfectly. Of course, it was Mexican culture in Coco, and we absolutely loved it. This is a Disney animation series, so not Pixar, but really excited to see what they can do with that. Also, a movie, let's see if I hope I pronounce this right, Iwashu. Have you heard about this one? Made in partnership with Kugali Media that will be premiering on Disney Plus in 2022. And beg your pardon, this is a series coming out.
Okay. Yeah. Did we talked about Baymax?
So no, I was going through films first. We're going to go into series.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, so the only other films we do have, we got 3 more films. We've got Luca, of course, which we've discussed already. It's set to hit theaters, actually, June 2021.
Excited for that.
Lightyear, once again, to be released in theaters. Really excited about this one. For those of you who haven't heard about this one, a backstory about Buzz Lightyear, going to be voiced by Chris Evans. Yes. Really excited about that.
Yes.
Once again, in theaters, summer 2022.
And what's great about this one is it's not Buzz Lightyear the toy, but it's Space Rangers, what the Buzz Lightyear toy is based off on in the Toy Story. And so it's going to be like, I don't know if you ever watched it when you were a kid, Ryan, but
the Space Ranger series?
Space Ranger series.
Absolutely, yes. Yeah.
And
so really excited about that. Yeah. That'll be great. And then the last one, I believe this is a film. I'm not sure if it says if it's a film. Yeah, so this is the new Pixar film coming out. It's called Turning Red. It's about a 13-year-old girl going through puberty, and every time she gets excited, she turns into a red panda.
Oh.
This is just in development. We don't have a date on this one yet, but sounds like similar, almost like an unofficial. What's the word I'm looking for? Sequel to like Inside Out. We saw that with Riley sort of entering that puberty phase. So definitely that could be interesting as well. So that's about it for films, but we do have quite a few Pixar and Disney animation series as well. If you want to start diving into those, you mentioned Baymax. We have a few others, Baymax, Zootopia, Tiana. Why don't you jump onto those, what the top of your list is?
Yeah. I don't know if we've ever talked about Big Hero 6 here.
We have not, but we are both huge fans. Yeah.
Big fan of that. And Baymax is one of the cutest characters ever put in a Pixar movie, I think. Really great on Pixar's part there to really capitalize on that. We've been waiting for more Big Hero 6, and we're getting a delivery. I think there's a series that came out, but I never caught it.
Yeah, no, I did not either. But yeah, Big Hero 6, an awesome movie. Awesome idea. I just love the setting. San Francisco.
Yeah.
Such a neat idea. We get some really great, examples of like future technology with the nanobots.
Oh, yeah.
And of course with Baymax as well. So really excited to see that. Baymax getting a series coming early 2022. We also have, as we mentioned, Zootopia Plus.
I hope that they capitalize on the comedy that was in Zootopia. Yeah. Zootopia was one of the best Disney original movies to ever come out. Jason Bateman was phenomenal in that movie.
Without a doubt.
And like I said, the humor was one of the brightest spots from that movie, not to mention the plot was really relevant about, kind of racial inequalities in our world. I thought that was really awesome.
It was a really, really great film. Really enjoyed it. Very underrated. We hear so much about Disney Pixar now, and of course, Disney side projects with, I don't want to call them side projects, but, not with the exact Disney brand, whether it's Star Wars or whether it's the MCU. But this was a Disney animation, a Disney animation original film. Love this film. Really excited to see what they do with this series. That's going to start on Disney Plus spring of 2022.
Yeah, and we have Tiana from Disney and the Princess and the Frog. Have you seen Princess and the Frog?
I just saw this one. I had never seen it before. I had heard the music, and I love the music. Never seen the film until I actually got the streaming service Disney Plus.
Okay.
Loved this film. Love it. I'm a huge fan of New Orleans. My parents took me to New Orleans for my 21st birthday.
Ryan loves New Orleans
every year. So really love the culture and the cultural impacts in the film. Love Tiana as well. Of course, groundbreaking, our first African-American Disney princess. And, really loved the story. Loved everything about this film. Really excited to see the series. This one's coming to Disney Plus 2023. I cannot wait for this one. Really excited to see what they do with Tiana, with the music, with the story, with the setting. I love the whole Bayou culture that they touch on there, and the Creole culture as well, with the Firefly. Really, really love that film.
And as far as kind of capping off our Disney series here, for me, the top of my list out of all of these, I love Baymax, love Zootopia, love Tiana, but for me, not just one of the best Disney movies ever made, but one of the best movies I've seen in the last few years. We're getting a Moana series.
Moana was really something special.
Yes.
This one I saw in theaters.
Me too.
The music, the imagery, I love the animation. I think it's gorgeous what they do with Rapa Nui. What is
Matanui.
Yeah, is that? Okay.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. I love the setting, and of course, with Tafiti and how they do it. I think it's incredible. I love the rock in it as well.
Maui.
Yeah. So really enjoyable, and I think that would be the top of my list too. I don't know. It's close between it and Tiana. I'm really excited for Tiana as well. But Moana, going to be once again around the same time, coming to Disney Plus 2023. Really excited to see Moana. Maybe, I'm not sure if Lin-Manuel Miranda will be back in the works.
I hope he does.
But we both are huge. If you couldn't tell already from our Hamilton review and our other talks about Lin-Manuel Miranda, we're huge fans. And really excited to see, hopefully, his talents brought in. Yep.
Side note on Lin-Manuel Miranda. In the Heights, his directorial debut, guys, coming to HBO Max next year. I know we're not talking about HBO Max, but guys, really excited to see what he can do as a director, and he's obviously had strong connection to the play as well.
For anyone who hasn't seen or heard the music from In the Heights, get yourself prepared for that to come 2022. Start listening on Spotify. It is incredible. I had the unique pleasure of actually seeing Lin-Manuel Miranda before he was, a big name. He was a big name in the Broadway community. He won a Tony Award for the creation of In the Heights. But see him perform as the main character on stage, which he's not doing in the film. He's not reprising his role. But to see him in person perform and with that passion while also directing the show was really incredible. But it's a great story. Once again, I think they're going to take it a different way in the film. They're going to go to put it in today's context with Dreamers and DACA families here in the United States, but really excited to see what they do with it, and keeping a lot of the original music too, because the score is incredible.
Yeah, absolutely. And was that as far as series?
Yeah, that's it for Disney and Disney Pixar animated series and upcoming films.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that would take us to the Star Wars portion.
Okay, guys, this was definitely, if we're breaking this down into categories, I definitely was, lots of highlights in the Disney animated space, lots of highlights in the MCU space, but guys, we are getting what we've always wanted from Star Wars, finally, after, definitely some mixed feelings on the sequel films starring, Rey, Finn, Poe Dameron, Kylo Ren. I liked all three of them, but, a lot of people didn't like the first two, a lot of people didn't like the first one, a lot of people didn't like the second one, a lot of people didn't like the third one. Everyone has mixed opinions on it, but now they're saying, okay, you guys don't want to see just movies. You guys like Mandalorian? Let's go with over 10. I think it's like 15 new series total. And I think we should start with what's definitely at the top of my list. I don't know if it's at the top of your list or not, but Obi-Wan Kenobi, the series. And the big news here, guys, Hayden Christensen returns, Darth Vader himself, and we get to see the ultimate reprisal of their duel from Mustafar, Obi-Wan versus Darth Vader. What are your thoughts, Ryan? I was flabbergasted.
Yeah, really excited. Definitely, spoiler alert from our episode, the top of my list as well from all of these announcements has to be Obi-Wan Kenobi and the news that Hayden Christensen will be back. Once again, we've talked about this in just about every episode that Star Wars comes up. I'm a huge Hayden Christensen fan. Loved him as Anakin Skywalker in both Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith. I know I get a lot of beef for that, but I thought he was great.
He's good in Revenge of the Sith. He's great in Attack of the
Clones. But anyway, excited to see what they do with this. I mean, it's straight up, it's not, he's reprising his role as Anakin Skywalker, in like flashbacks. No, he is playing Darth Vader. Yeah. So I'm excited to see how they go with this. We've never seen... I guess we've never heard anyone play Darth Vader besides James Earl Jones. So interested to see where they go with Hayden Christensen. Maybe we'll get a standoff between, an older Obi-Wan Kenobi and Hayden Christensen as Darth Vader. Maybe we get, this is what I'm going to go with as a sort of guess, assumption. I think we're going to get maybe Darth Vader, young Darth Vader as Hayden Christensen, finding out that his son and daughter are alive, primarily his son, Luke. And he's going to go back and try and watch over his son as well. And maybe that's where he runs into and encounters Obi-Wan Kenobi, who, remember, does not know at this point that Anakin Skywalker is Darth Vader. He thinks he died on Mustafar.
Yep. And I love your prediction there, Ryan, but I got to shut you down right there. Darth Vader does not know who Luke Skywalker is until Empire Strikes Back. Oh. Remember, he meets with the Emperor in that film for the first time, and he says, "The son of Skywalker is alive." And then he says, "Search your feelings, Lord Vader. You know it to be true." And that's when he realizes Luke is my son. And that's when he goes and they face off on Cloud City, and then he says, "No, I am your father." So I don't think he's going to find out that Luke and Leia are, his, obviously in Return of the Jedi, Luke kind of gives away that Leia is his daughter, is Vader's daughter, when they have that confrontation on Endor. Mm-hmm. But like you said, Obi-Wan hasn't put two and two together yet at this point that Darth Vader is Anakin Skywalker. He just thinks Darth Vader's another Sith Lord at this point. But oh my gosh, how emotional is it going to be when Obi-Wan realizes that his fallen apprentice is now the Dark Lord of the Sith? Yeah,
and not just his apprentice, but, as we see that great emotional scene in Revenge of the Sith, you were my brother, I mean, they were, they were family. quite literally, Obi-Wan and Anakin, and we see that, of course, in Attack of the Clones. We see it in the Clone Wars. So you're absolutely right.
And I really want
big moments.
Yeah, and I really want to know, how are they going to work it into the famous line in A New Hope when Obi-Wan and Darth Vader have that fateful duel on the Death Star. When we last met, I was but the learner. This is Darth Vader talking. When we last met, I was but the learner. Now I am the master.
Yeah.
How are they going to work that in? Really have a lot of questions about it, but everyone that's in charge of Obi-Wan Kenobi has my full faith. Deborah Chow, she's showrunner. Yes, she's fantastic. She directed one episode in season 1 of The Mandalorian, which was a fantastic episode. But yeah, so really excited for that. What are some of our other series we got?
So we've got 2 spin-offs coming from The Mandalorian. Rangers of the New Republic, which we think will follow Cara Dune now as the what's the
Marshal.
Marshal of the New Republic, and probably some of these X-Wing fighter pilots that we keep seeing in season 2 of The Mandalorian. And then, of course, what I know is probably close to the top of your list behind Kenobi, Ahsoka Tano will be getting her own spin-off series here in the universe of The Mandalorian, or I should say the time frame of The Mandalorian.
Yeah, and I think now that we know this, my predictions for The Mandalorian have changed. I think Ahsoka Tano was just, that was her spin-off moment, and that's it. We might not see her again. Maybe we'll get a small cameo, but for you Rebels fans and Clone Wars fans, the story will continue. We're going to find out where Ezra Bridger is. We're going to find out where Grand Admiral Thrawn is in Ahsoka, the Star Wars series. And man, I am so hyped. Rosario Dawson is fantastic as Ahsoka.
She is awesome. And the Jedi, definitely, as you heard from us, one of our favorite. I know your favorite Mandalorian episode. However, I would say my second favorite. I really liked the tragedy as well. But she was so amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then we have, for you Clone Wars fans out there, we have a continuation of the Clone Wars, Star Wars: The Bad Batch. As a lot of you know, that final season on Disney Plus, our first 4 episodes, which were actually pretty good episodes, not the best of that season, but definitely better than the 4 that followed, but definitely not as good as the final 4, which is really confusing now that I said it out loud. But when we get introduced to the Bad Batch with Captain Rex and Anakin Skywalker, they move off into the sunset with Echo in their troop, and we get to see them go through the rise of the Empire, and that's going to be very exciting for me to see. Big fan of the Clone Wars, and Dave Filoni has his hands in this as well, which makes it even better. I know you probably don't have that much thoughts on it.
I mean, I'm not at that point in the Clone Wars yet. Actually, big moment for me. I just got through season 1 of the Clone Wars, finished that up with Dom today. But yeah, no, I mean, love the Clone Wars so far. So any, more things done in the vein of the Clone Wars, excited to see, definitely. And then we do have some other spin-offs coming as well. Of course, Star Wars Andor, which will be a spin-off from Rogue One and follow Diego Luna. His name was, I'm not remembering.
Cassian Andor.
Cassian Andor, there we go. So Star Wars Andor, he'll get his own series coming in 2022.
More of a prequel, right?
Yeah, I mean, it would have to be. He dies at the end, absolutely. Yeah. And then, of course, we also have this one I'm curious to hear you talk about because, of course, I don't know necessarily much about this. The Acolyte, and it's directed by one of your favorites, Leslie Headland from Russian Doll, who I remember you talking about in your Netflix original episode that we did.
I had no idea what she was going to do. I was afraid that they were going to do some, not to spoil it, but the director of Wonder Woman is doing a Rogue Squadron show, which I'm kind of excited for, but
Rogue Squadron movie.
A movie. And, I'm excited for Rogue Squadron, but to me that feels like it's its own contained thing. But I didn't know what Leslie Headland was going to do because, like I said, she's a fantastic writer and director. She creates insane narratives. And I didn't know narratively whether she was going to go. I know she said that it was going to be a female protagonist, once again, just like in the vein of Rey, which I was all for. And I didn't know if it was going to be, after Return of the Jedi, if it was going to take place after The Force Awakens, what era it was going to take place in. But what got me insanely hyped is this takes place 200 years before The Phantom Menace.
Wow. Okay.
Towards the end of the High Republic. Once the High Republic falls, the Sith Empire rises. And guys, for all intents and purposes, for me, this is the closest thing we're going to get to the video game, one of the best Star Wars video games of all time, at least until I played Jedi Fallen Order, Knights of the Old Republic. RPG set in the Star Wars universe, set over 2,000 years before Phantom Menace, but this one 200 years before. This looks fantastic. I'm so excited.
I mean, I was going to ask you to elaborate because I'm not familiar with what the High Republic is, but this sounds awesome. This sounds like, as we got with, the prequels when they came out, and then with the sequels, this sounds like the start of a whole new Star Wars story branch, taking place before Phantom Menace. It's a prequel to the prequels, if you will. We're really excited for that. I'm not so much a fan of these stories that are being wedged in sort of in between the films being made. I'm more for, seeing what happened, in these long arcs, like we saw in, even though I hated the Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones, Revenge of the Sith, or we saw in the new sequels as well. So really excited to see what they do here.
And one more thing, sorry, on the Acolyte.
Go right ahead.
I want to know what your reaction is to this. A lot of people are theorizing, since this is 200 years before the Phantom Menace, we are going to see the actual Darth Plagueis that we heard about in Revenge of the Sith when Palpatine kind of recounts that old Sith legend.
Right, yes.
Man, how cool would it be to finally get to see that, not just told it from Revenge of the Sith?
Yeah, no, that's exciting. There's a lot of excitement for this, hearing what the High Republic is now, that I'm excited to see and hear. Once again, I've also heard you rave about Russian Doll and about Leslie Headland, so really excited to see what they do with this. So that's what we've got official dates for. We do have three other Star Wars series that are coming out that don't have official names yet, just in pre-production. A Droid Story, that's going to be a series that follows C-3PO and R2-D2 with a new hero. They haven't announced who it is yet, but we're going to get to see that, more of possibly what happened to R2-D2 and C-3PO between the events of Return of the Jedi and Star Wars 7 that I don't remember. Force Awakens, thank you. So excited to see that. Maybe we find out why C-3PO has a red arm, why R2-D2 shut down.
Yep.
So excited for that. And then Star Wars Lando. I'm really excited about this. I love Lando Calrissian. I loved him in the original films. I loved him as Donald Glover, right? Mm-hmm. Donald Glover in Solo. So really excited to see this. I think they've announced that it is Donald Glover who will reprise the role of Lando Calrissian. And definitely one of my favorite characters, especially, those gambling scenes with him and Han. Some of my favorite, Solo wasn't a great film to me, but those are some of my favorite scenes that he was in.
Solo was definitely not a great film, guys, but the best part of that film was how perfect Donald Glover was as Lando. I mean, the most perfect impression you could do of Lando Calrissian, picture that in your head. That's Donald Glover in Solo: A Star Wars Story.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Huge fan of that. And then last but certainly not least, we have something called Star Wars Visions, which is going to be an anime anthology series from Star Wars coming to Disney Plus as well.
Kind of reminds me of the anime series we got that's not canon anymore, but Star Wars Clone Wars from Samurai Jack creators.
Exactly, yeah.
If it goes that direction, that could be awesome.
Yeah, excited to see that. You don't know exactly when this is going to take place in the Star Wars universe, but we're all for it. Anything Star Wars, we're all about. Keep it coming, Lucasfilm. Keep it coming, Disney. So really excited about that. And then we do have, of course, as we mentioned, and I clicked away from it, 2 more Star Wars movies coming up, as we alluded to earlier. Rogue Squadron, directed by Patty Jenkins, coming December of 2023. This is going to be a spinoff from Rogue One as well, correct?
It feels like it's going to be a spinoff of Rogue One, even though she said it's going to be the best pilot movie that we've ever seen, which, Top Gun is definitely in contention for that. She said she's always her dad, in the trailer, they're showing her taking off her pilot outfit and then putting on the Star Wars pilot outfit, and she's like, my dad was a fighter pilot, and she says, ever since I saw him and he died fighting him, in the war, she's always wanted to make a fighter pilot movie, which I think emotionally that's going to be really great, and she says this is going to be its own original story. Yeah. I'm all for it. Like I said, not insanely excited like some of the other stuff, but great director behind the film for sure.
Absolutely. And then the last but certainly not least, something we're really excited about, Untitled, but a Taika Waititi Star Wars movie coming out. It was announced in May, but it's already in development. So really excited about that. We're huge Taika Waititi fans and really excited to see what he can bring to the Star Wars universe.
How much fun is that movie going to be, guys? Taika Waititi is, he directed the best episode of Mandalorian Season 1, the final episode of Season 1. He voiced IG-88, one of the most, fleshed out characters, I thought.
Absolutely, yeah, with that for a droid especially.
Yeah, and what he can do with full control of his own movie just is a dream for me. Yes.
All right. Well, I think we've covered just about everything that was announced by Disney. Yeah. I think we've got to round out the show. Just top 3 on your list from this list that you're excited for coming out, in the upcoming years.
Yeah. Are we going to go by category or just overall?
I would just do overall. I think we touched a little bit on what our favorite is from each category, what we're most looking forward to. Let's just go overall, your top 3, what you're most looking forward to.
Number 1 announcement for me, guys, has to be Obi-Wan Kenobi, the series. I think this is the same for you.
Yeah, I think we can agree with that. Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely, like we saw, guys, Hayden Christensen and Ewan McGregor just reuniting on screen again is going to be, it makes me feel like I'm 12 years old again. It makes me feel so freaking hyped and excited, even more hyped than I was for when we were going to get a new Star Wars movie, The Force Awakens, back then. Yeah. My God, I can't wait for this show. And, Ewan McGregor is like, I've seen pictures of him recently. He's growing the Obi-Wan Kenobi beard, and he looks just like Alec Guinness. And I'm so hyped. Oh, my God. And number 2, definitely the Ahsoka show. Like we said, Rosario Dawson killing it. Continuing the story of Rebels. Hopefully we get to see one character I didn't mention that I hope shows up in Ahsoka, Sabine Wren. She's on the hunt. She's a Mandalorian. She's looking for her kind of friend, but I think like her love interest, Ezra Bridger the Jedi. Where is he? He disappears at the end of Rebels. Spoilers, sorry Ryan, but he disappears at the end of Rebels, and we don't know where he is. So hopefully it's all about that. And Lars Mikkelsen, the brother of Mads Mikkelsen, I hope he reprises his role as Grand Admiral Thrawn, one of the best Star Wars villains of all time. I know you haven't seen it yet, Ryan, but once you do, you're going to agree with me. Yeah,
we've definitely talked about that, so I definitely hear you there.
Oh, my number 3, sorry.
Your number 3, yes.
My number 3, I want to say The Acolyte, but I'm going to make it a non-Star Wars. I'm going to go, I kind of want to say WandaVision, but guys, Lightyear by Chris Evans got me so freaking hyped. That is awakening the child within me. Like we said, the Space Rangers cartoon series was freaking cool.
So awesome.
Yeah.
No, that's a great list, and I think we're kind of close there. I mean, you went Star Wars heavy. Ahsoka. There are a lot of great Star Wars series coming up here, but I'm gonna just stick, with my one Star Wars on the list. Top of my list, most excited for Obi-Wan Kenobi, like we mentioned, Hayden Christensen, Ewan McGregor. I think why that's so special to us and nostalgic is we didn't just live through, these new sequels, but we lived through the release of the prequels. I mean, I went and saw Attack of the Clones in theaters, Revenge of the Sith in theaters. I mean, for a lot of people, it's Luke Skywalker and Han Solo are, the original Star Wars heroes. But for people of our generation, it was Obi-Wan Kenobi and Anakin Skywalker, of course, Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen. So we're really excited to see them back on screen.
And can I cut in real quick? And just to further explain, like Ryan said, yeah, sure. I saw Attack of the Clones in the theaters, and at the time when I was a little kid, I thought, wow, that's the best Star Wars movie I've ever seen. Yes. But then, I don't know, going to see Revenge of the Sith and see the two of them fight on the big screen, that was one of the most memorable experiences I've ever had in a movie theater.
Yeah. I think you're right. It was a little bit more special. I mean, we were a little younger when Attack of the Clones came out. It was sort of our introduction into Star Wars.
Yeah.
But, didn't know much about it. And I think between the time of Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith, if not before for you, for me, definitely in between, was when I then got really into, the original Star Wars, because that was my first Star Wars movie, Attack of the Clones. And then went in knowing just about everything from Star Wars to that point when I went and saw Attack of the Clones. I came in with my action figure. I had an Anakin Skywalker action figure. I had a lightsaber that I brought to the theater, back in the day when you could still bring in stuff to movie theaters. I agree with you there.
I had a freaking Mustafar volcano lava cake with Anakin Skywalker and Obi-Wan battling on it for my birthday that year. Awesome. My mom made that for me. That was the best birthday I ever had.
Yeah, so I think definitely that's top of my list. But then next up, I'm going to go with What If. Okay. I'm really excited for What If. I love series like that. I think a lot of TV shows have done 1 or 2 episodes like that where They say, you know, what if this happened? And we have all of the events, you know, play out just if something different happened in the series. I know it's not canon, and it's not canon in those shows either. You know, it's always a what if hypothetical, but then you flash back at the beginning of the episode and that didn't happen. But I'm just excited to see where they go with what if. So that's my number 2. And then number 3, I have to go with you as well. Lightyear, Chris Evans, Buzz Lightyear. So excited for that as well. So Lightyear, those are the top 3 for my list. A lot of awesome honorable mentions though too. Why don't you guys let us know what you're most excited for down in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe as well if you're listening on Apple Podcasts. Give us a 5-star review. Dom, you want to take us out?
Yeah, I guess we did in the last episode, we didn't do our ads, but we should do it now. You can follow me at Dom Gonzalez 48, DOMGONZALES 48. And you can follow Ryan on Twitter at RB with the call. And you can follow him on Instagram at RB_the_SID. Give us a follow there. You know, we'll accept your follow request, and we can DM and talk about whatever you want. Let us know what you want to see on our show, as well as we're also on Spotify podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Apple Podcasts, like RB said. With that said, we got more stuff coming out for you guys soon, so keep that in the pipeline. Like we said, we got more movie reviews from HBO Max, Disney Plus, Netflix, all of it coming at you soon. And not to mention, our next episode is definitely going to be Mandalorian Season 2 finale. Guys, we're hyped for that, so we'll see you guys then. Have a great week.